Getting YELAN'S ECHO is an absolute nightmare. This has to be the worst one of all. We'll talk builds in a second, but to cut to the chase, to immediately begin this challenge, since most of you guys are going to be working with C0, do not use your skill unless if you are met with mobs in this beginning stage. Instead, I want you to sprint to every orb along the way. Now, when you make it to the balloons, this might be common knowledge, but for some, maybe not. Always aim for the middle one because your fully charged shot is going to hit all 5 of them at once. You can always tell if you have this fully charged shot if her wristband is glowing. This fully charged shot will regenerate very quickly when you're outside of combat, so you're guaranteed to get another one by the next time you reach these balloons again. And again, prioritize your skill for the mobs. Getting to the end part can be a little bit tricky. I just immediately aimed for the one that was on the right side, and then I went and used my skill on the mobs so that I could immediately get out of combat because it's going to charge it up quickly. But if you're absolutely in a pinch, use your ult because that's going to regenerate your charge shot very quickly. And now we enter the fun part. Oh my god. I tried a million different builds. Honestly, it really does play a role. Also, just the strategy that you have to play with this. So I played around with 2-piece Heart of Depth and 2-piece Noblesse. I played around with 4-piece Heart of Depth. I played around with 2-piece Heart of Depth and 2-piece Tenacity. I played around with 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece Heart of Depth. I played around with 4-piece Emblem, all of which were just extremely difficult. I would switch between Skyward Harp and Elegy. I don't have her signature, but it seems to me that you do need a lot of energy for this trial. That is definitely a priority you want to make from it. I had to go and level up my talents because they were not high enough for this. I'm not crowned, but if you are crowned, this is going to make this a lot easier for you. The build that I ended up using that ended up working was 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece Tenacity. The HP ended up being a lot better than the Hydro damage bonus, so keep that in mind. A huge tip for when you start this trial is make sure that your wristband is glowing before you even begin and that your stamina bar is full. Those are your main priorities. And hit the corolla as soon as the bar shows up. Keep looking up and you're going to charge another shot for this corolla. You'll obviously notice that there's slimes in this trial. While annoying, don't let them be too much of a distraction. It is pretty easy to go and use your skill on them. Look at these slimes as they are energy. That is their biggest purpose for this. This is what's going to recharge your ult the most. Attacking these is not going to do anything towards the pyro flower. Using your ultimate to defeat the roots or the corolla can be extremely vital for this. Don't wait to fire off your ultimate once it's down. I strongly recommend using your ultimate when you're getting towards the roots. It's always going to go in the same order. It's going to start with the corolla and then it's going to go to the roots. It's never going to do the same thing twice in a row. Also, your ult does do hydro damage, so sometimes if you're close enough, you can hit its corolla or its roots with your ult on its impact damage. Now, to specifically talk about times when it's easiest to aim for the corolla, there's a lot of moments where it's going to charge up an attack and this gives you free reign. A lot of the time your ultimate will be the best for this moment. Sometimes it'll nosedive and hit the ground one time, but when it does, it sits there for a few seconds, so that's a perfect time to hit it. Please do note though that your elemental skill does not do any hydro to the corolla or the roots, which is very frustrating, so you have to make sure that you're hitting this all with your charge attack. If you see it do the nosedive and it's doing it multiple times, on the third one it's going to also sit down vulnerably for a few seconds for you to also dole out some hydro damage. Once the boss is weakened, it's best to sprint out of the last attack so that you can dole out the first attack again as quickly as possible. This can be a little bit difficult to time, but it makes all the difference. As soon as I've hit its corolla at this stage, I decided it was best to fire off the ultimate because you can actually hit it from afar with your ultimate very far away. And then at this point, because it's getting to such a low health bar, I stopped using my elemental skill to charge up my ult on the slimes and started hitting the boss instead. Then as it's getting up, I was able to do another elemental skill. My ult was basically almost ready to do it again. I honestly do kind of find it annoying because at the end here, that could have completely fumbled me because the slime was so close. I wish they chose another mob. I mean, I get that they don't attack you a ton, but honestly, it just was locking on to us a little too much during this trial. But yeah, that's what got me through this trial. And here's the same boss fight you just watched unedited.
抓到了。中场收工。收。不必心急。也很疼，不必心急。丝线交织，收。
It took me an hour and a half, I can't lie. Please leave in the comments below if there's anything I forgot that is anything that could be critical for somebody to help pass this trial. And if I did help you today, please make sure to subscribe. And I promise if this is frustrating and difficult for you to do, you are not the only one. But thank you very much for watching.